Change can't occur without change. We can expect our children to make changes, but if as parents we don't make changes, we can't really obtain the results that we're looking for.
Today in studio, I have a personal friend and a guest that I'm excited to introduce. Her name is Demishia Owens. She is the program director for EAC's home-based program, along with a handful of other youth programs, including the Chance to Advance program, which is a mentorship program similar to Big Brothers or Big Sisters.
I experienced a lot of trauma from a very young age. I was actually kidnapped. Then I went to college. I got raped in college. So many different traumatic events that I experienced. I was feeling burnt out at work because I had lost several team members at the same time. We had so many children in need recently. It just kept coming back to my head. I said, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna let this hurt me? Many people email me all the time, say, I just wanna help. What do you think will be best for me? Mentorship helps mold a person. It helps give them support, love, attention, all these little things that we may think are irrelevant, but it's not to them. So I think
welcome to another episode of the Real Mentors podcast. Today in studio, I have a personal friend and a guest that I'm excited to introduce. Her name is Demishia Owens. She is the program director for EAC's home-based program, along with, a handful of other youth programs, including the Chance to Advance program, which is a mentorship program similar to Big Brothers or Big Sisters, which I'm blessed and thankful to be part of. And I'm blessed and thankful to have you here today, sis. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you for making the accommodations, too, and moving a couple of things around to get here on Halloween morning, no less. How are you feeling today?
I am blessed. I am grateful. I'm happy.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Demishia. I know you're a Long Island girl, right?
I actually grew up in Queens.
Oh.
I grew up in Lefrak City.
That's right.
Yeah.
From the hood.
Yeah, from the hood. And my parents worked hard to get us out of the hood to go to Long Island. So I moved to Brentwood maybe when I was about 14 years old.
Okay.
And from there, I stayed in Long Island. I liked Long Island, so I stayed.
Yeah, it's a lot better than Queens. And it's crazy. Most people don't even know Queens and Brooklyn are actually part of Long Island. And I was doing the numbers the other day, and it's like 8 million people. But most of them are closer to the city. So what do you remember about the difference between, growing up in the city and then growing up out here in Brentwood, which, again, is nice compared to Lefrak, but it still got its issues too?
Well, it was different times. I was able to go across the street, go get my grandma Bacardi, Coke. I was so young, you were able to go to the store, Right. It's definitely a different neighborhood, I was around, shootouts. So I'd come home from school and we would have to bend down underneath the cars, but it was almost normal. It wasn't even weird.
Right.
Coming to the suburbs, I actually didn't like it when I first came here. I was like, oh my God, this is so quiet. I don't think I'm going to like it. But, I got used to it. But it's definitely, I would say, just having houses next to each other instead of buildings. That was a big difference.
Just the space, right?
Just the space, And
I think we all need space to grow. And the thing is about being in the city, and like you said, the chaos is normal. People that are listening, right, and don't know that shootouts are part of growing up. Like, we've all been through a shootout, and it's just normal. That shit is wild. But then you actually feel uncomfortable coming to the suburbs just because it's unfamiliar. But it kind of speaks to how people adapt. Now, you spent a large chunk of your career with EAC. Did you always start out in social services, or what was your original background before you found EAC?
So I had a lot of personal things happen to me, and because of that, I decided to go to school for initially for forensics. And then I said, that's not my calling. I went to John Jay College for criminal justice. And I said, I really like the social work aspect, the helping people aspect. So I got out of college. I started out with a homeless shelter. So I worked with homeless families for about 7 to 8 years. And then I transitioned myself to EAC, working with at-risk youth in the PINS program.
I didn't know that about you. I don't want to, if you're not comfortable speaking about it, let me know. But, what are some of the things you're willing to share that kind of impacted the way you saw the world that you decided you wanted to fix?
Yes.
Some of the things you went through.
I experienced a lot of trauma from a very young age. Being in Lefrak, I was actually kidnapped from the elevator from going to the store. They took me, it was a whole big thing. They were able to find me, thank God. And then I had just incident after incident. I went to college. I got raped in college. There was just so many different traumatic events that I experienced. And I said, what am I going to do? Am I just going to let this hurt me? I'm just going to sulk? Or am I going to, is this my calling? Am I supposed to be doing something else? And then, my father and my mother, we were on food stamps. My father worked really hard. He ended up working for the post office, and then he went to school for social work. Wow. And ended up getting his doctorates in social work in Columbia. Mm-hmm. So I think he was a big role model. So I took the circumstances that happened to me along with looking at my father as a role model, and said, you know what, I'm going to do more. I'm going to be something. I'm going to help others who have gone through some of the similar things that I've gone through.
That's amazing, sis. I didn't know that about you. Oh, man, I'm covered in goosebumps. I got my long sleeves on. I honor you. I really do.
Thank you.
I really, really do. I didn't know that. But that speaks to the strength that trauma and chaos and pain can give people, given the right support system. Because what I'm also hearing here is your father, that male figure, and your mother was in your life as well?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing is most of the people, and I keep repeating this because I wanted to hit somebody who didn't see that show but sees this show, 90+% of the people on here that have found any level of success or redemption or purpose have had a foundation of two parents. And now you're dedicated to a space where I found you, where we're trying to combat so many of the things that we experienced but we were able to overcome. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing a lot of that with the kids that we're dealing with, one-parent homes, or what's some of the things you're seeing patterns with, so that we can identify them?
We definitely see one-parent homes. We see two-parent homes, but the relationships are very strained. So, it causes a lot of behavioral, incorrigible behaviors from the children. We also just see a lot of pain within the parents. There's a lot of parents who have physical pain, mental health pain, and then it triggers down to the children. But I would say, honestly, it's almost 50-50 in regards to, one-parent homes. Because even sometimes if they don't only have a one-parent home, they may have a stepfather who may have came in.
Right.
So I would say it's about 50%.
And I even say non-traditional. I go as far to say non-traditional, gay parent homes, two female, two male. It doesn't matter the mixture. I don't care about the politics, what you believe in. I don't give a shit. I believe in more people is better. Community is better. And that's also because we grew up in the city, so that's normal too.
Yes.
There's just so many people that we see all kinds of situations and we just welcome them.
Yes.
So digging back into some of the programs that you've been with now, how long has it been that you've been with EAC?
Over 20 years.
Wow. So you did the homeless shelters and then you moved directly into EAC. What were some of the first positions? Because I've seen you get awards. I've seen you climb the ladder. And I've only known you for 2 years. So I imagine over 20, you got a heck of a lot of accolades and movement in that organization.
From EAC, you mean?
Yeah, from EAC.
So I actually started out as a senior case manager. Working with youth who were truant, using drugs, had mental health diagnosis, all of the above, in gangs. And then I was promoted to deputy director. And then I was promoted to program director. And then I was given additional programs.
Okay. And now your focus is really youth-based.
Yes.
Right. So tell us a little bit about Home Base, and then we'll get into the others, and then obviously Chance to Advance and our toy drive.
So Home Base is actually one of the newer programs. We've had this program in effect for about 5 years. The youth in this program are affiliated with the Department of Probation or Family Court. They have either have a misdemeanor or they have a sex offense. Right. Or they may just be truant, have severe truancy where they have severe anxiety, so they're not going to school. They stay isolated in their room. So what we do with Home Base, we go in, we do an assessment, we provide case management services, we provide therapy, individual and family component. We also provide a teen enrichment program, which promotes a lot of positive youth development, educational activities on drugs and alcohol, school avoidance, anger management, management. We do recreational activities. Obviously, kids that are involved in the juvenile justice system, they often don't have anything to do. They're bored. So we try to give them some constructive activities to do or link them with those activities in their community. In addition, we have a boys group, boys support group. It's called Boys to Men. We have a girls group. So we kind of try to provide a whole wraparound model where you have a case manager, a counselor, a mentor, enrichment services to improve their behavior and also to reduce recidivism so they won't reoffend.
Yeah, I think people that don't come from that environment don't know how easy it is to get caught up. Like even me, having a good example, it's just you're still doing shit that is not legit. It's because it's normal, right? Like ducking behind cars. I know that you've seen a lot of success stories along the way, and you've probably seen a lot of, people that you couldn't help. How does that affect you? And what has been the growth in yourself to not let that be taken personally? Because I know you care a lot. Yes.
I'm still working on that. Let me just be honest, because here and there I'll use all my techniques and it can still get to me. But I would say over the years I really try to do self-care now. I really try to. I'm not going to just say I leave it at the job because I don't do that. But I really try to use breathing. I really just try to be supportive and let them know I'm only here to give somebody the tools to help them to make their life better. Right. They came into this situation when they were in crisis, because usually families or kids that come into our program are in crisis. I'm not capable of fixing it. They are able to fix things for themselves. I think that was a big mind shift for myself. Me and my team are just there to help them with the tools and support and let them know and give them hope.
Right.
Because a lot of them do feel hopeless, like nothing's ever going to get better. So focusing on that does allow me to have emotional less fatigue.
So let's talk about it, I guess. So there's emotional kind of awareness, right? Why the emotions, and I'm sure that is all in social work as far as the layers. And that's the most basic with a lot of these young people is the anger component. They don't realize that the anger is stemming from other things. If somebody didn't react in the way that they wanted because they had an expectation, and that's usually how it starts. And then, it's almost like they jump from whatever to anger. Some of these programs, I'm guessing, address that.
Yes.
So we're going down to the basics. Can I tell you that I didn't learn that till I was almost 30?
Wow.
And that's why I ended up in prison, because I didn't even have the emotional intelligence to understand why I was getting angry. So hence the hopelessness. And we are personally engaged through EAC, both in the Chance to Advance program and other things. Let's talk a little bit about Chance to Advance, which is the mentorship program. Is that something that was around the entire time? When did that come about?
So, funny story, I actually started as a volunteer for Chance to Advance. We had a camp and they wanted some volunteers to come out on a trip with the kids. And then I just fell in love with the youth that were in foster care. And from there, I decided I was asked to take over the program. And I would say it's been around for at least 15 years. I could be off. But I've mentored maybe 3 or 4 kids so far. I even have some of the mentees that I have one that's 30-something now. She calls me. She has 2 kids now. And I'm currently still mentoring one right now.
Yeah, and I have 2. We hung out the other day, Derek and I. So that was cool. We got to get them in that boxing program, which I'm going to work with Shatika on. So let the audience know, and I'm going to ask you to speak directly to them, as to what the importance is of mentorship and also the effects that it has on you as well as the adult.
I think mentoring, especially for the youth and care population, is extremely important. They bounce around. I don't think a lot of people really understand how much they can bounce around, where they really feel they have no one. So even a text message, a phone call, going out to eat, something small, just means the world to them. I've had so many of them tell me, you don't really see the impact I'm going to be honest, you may not see the impact, but later on it will come back and you will see such the strong impact that you have. I've had mentees tell me, you don't understand everything you did for me. It made me the person I am today. And I'm thinking, what did I do? But mentorship helps, mold a person. It helps give them support, love, attention, all these little things that we may think are irrelevant, but it's not to them.
Yeah, and I've seen it firsthand with my mentees. One has a family around him, and he's, a little younger and, more stable, even though he's got his issues, good kid. And then I've got one who's in a group home, and he has nobody. And I didn't realize, just going to pick him up the other day, he wanted to go for wings. And, you go to Wings. We went to Wingstop one time. I was like, nah, let me take him to a real bar with real wings. And that little thing made a big difference. And he took him home, and I'm sure you enjoyed him later. And, we had great conversation around just life. And I could see just how lonely he is. And, people complain about mental health and loneliness, but they have a support system around them. So to some extent, it's like a choice to want to be sad. And yes, there's controls and there's not controls. So I'm not going to go too deep on that. But I think we have the power to kind of help ourselves get a little better by moving around. Mm-hmm. Some of these kids don't even have that. They don't even have that. And
many of them actually age out of foster care, which is where my heart really lies. They don't have a parent to say, okay, I'm out. How do I get an apartment? Right. How do I do this? How do I do that? And many of them end up homeless because of that. They're on the street. They end up trafficking because they don't have that support.
Now, to anybody who's interested in mentoring, I'm going to take a second to just kind of promote EAC's Chance to Advance program. As Demishia stressed, you may not think you have a lot to offer, but if you have a job, you are somewhat stable, somewhat healthy, someone who's overcome any kind of sadness, anxiety, depression, dyslexia, it doesn't matter. What people don't realize is that this story can serve to inspire someone else. Look at you and I, we know each other somewhat well, and I didn't know that about you. So I'm so much more inspired to know you and to be working with you now because of the fact that you were brave enough to share your vulnerability. So for anybody who thinks that they're not the one, they're not special enough, they're not capable enough, these kids need your help. So make sure that you click the link that we're going to have in this bio and find out more about the Chance to Advance program, EAC local here in Long Island, because it's only going to take 2 hours a month. And I could commit to that being true. And sometimes our schedules don't line up. I get it. The text, the phone call, that counts too. I've seen it firsthand because I'm extremely busy, and there's months where I couldn't do my 2 hours. I'm not going to lie about it, but I texted or I called or I spoke to Shatika. She said, just call them. You don't understand how important that is.
It is.
So again, just really can't stress enough how a regular person, right, that doesn't think they're special can be someone's blessing. And I'm not over-exaggerating. So you are a blessing, and thank you for all the work that you do. Now I want to get into a little bit of public declarations and dreaming, right? So let's do some scary stuff right now. Demishia and I last year, I reached out to you randomly because everybody you speak to in the Long Island area is like, speak to Demishia. Because she knows everything. She's got all the youth connects. She's, Gary Brown, same thing. Obviously, Bob and Neil, I have nothing but, love for you. So I reached out to Demishia. I'm like, Demishia, I want to do a toy drive. What was it, like 3 weeks before Christmas? Because that's how I roll. And we were able to get between 75 and 100 toys, just texting some of my friends last year. So that really got me excited. And then I'm part of these amazing groups, and I got a Zenith mastermind with a guy named Dan Fleischman who is promoting the world's largest toy drive, and he's going to get to around $250,000 this year. So because of Dan, I am publicly declaring right now that we are aiming to, and I'm dragging her into this, we are aiming to do the largest toy drive in New York for teenagers specifically, because teenagers are really who you've been able to impact. And why is it that teenagers are so important to us? Please let the audience know, because I think they always forget.
They are forgotten. Yeah. Many people do such great work, and they get a lot of toy drives, but they're all for little children. And then often the teenagers are the ones with no gifts.
Yeah. So last year we were able to, electronics, basketballs, soccer balls, makeup, gift cards for makeup and Ulta and all these other things. So we are declaring it now. Largest teenage toy drive in New York. Okay, that's the 25 million people in the New York tri-state area. We're shooting for that, and we're starting this year. We're going to get this promo out. So make sure you support the world's... Are we going world's now? The world's largest teenage toy drive. How you like them apples, Dan? I thank you. You know, that's the blessing of being around people that make you raise your standards. So another thing that we talked about was building on some of the youth mentorship programs with teaching financial literacy, network, relationships, internships, and all the things. So I talked to you about forming a Kings Club out here, but I want to circle back to what you mentioned, the Boys to Men, and what was the other one, the girls group?
Helping each other reach success.
Tell us a little bit about that, and then let's dive into some of the things that I wanted to talk about with, I guess, maybe some of the gaps that we can fill.
So the Boys to Men support group, we provide a 6-week cycle educational support group. We have guest speakers come in, so each week it can be on a different topic. For the boys, we may have anger management, not having their father in their life. You know, what are your career goals? Gangs. It could be whatever that specific group, you know, wants to focus on. Right. We do the same for the girls. We work on a lot of healthy relationships, sex education, self-esteem, and those type of topics, which are really important for females. And within that, we also try to promote life skills. So that's where the financial literacy comes in, teaching them careers. You know, not everyone wants to go to college. So what do you want to do? There are other avenues to go by. Do you have
avenues to the trades for the kids?
We have had some presentations. We've had HVAC come in recently, different organizations, but we're still working on that. We're always trying to provide.
It's great because it's like a brainstorm session. Yeah. And I think I'm around a lot of people that are really keen on just how important AI is, right? So AI is going to leave everybody behind, do the jobs. But I see, and everybody seems to agree, that the physical labor component cannot be replaced. We're not as close to robots as we are to AI. So there is a huge opportunity for our people and anybody to actually advance themselves through the trades, where this is now going to be like, if you're even somewhat responsible, guaranteed 6 figures a year, because there's going to be a lack of it. So maybe that's something we can revisit.
A lot of youth are they're definitely interested.
HVAC, carpet installations, general contracting. It doesn't matter. If you can work with your hands, you are soon going to be in much need. Plus, we're going to need more housing and all the other things. So again, that's why I love talking to you.
I agree. I love it.
Something else.
Yes, I love that.
I want to circle back on your personal life. Okay. Congratulations, recently married.
Thank you.
And that was also a cool story, which I don't mind diving into, because I love making my friends uncomfortable. But your husband seems great from social media. I think I maybe met him and shook his hand once briefly at an event. Briefly.
Yeah, I think so.
Why.
I think so.
Maybe it's like a Gary Brown thing or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably.
The food drive last year.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Probably. So I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
You guys look super happy. And then I started probing, and I was like talking, and you guys have like a longer history.
Yes, we knew each other.
Yeah. Would you mind sharing and give your man his flowers?
Yes, I'll give him his flowers. I actually met him in high school. I had a crush on him. He was not the best guy back then, so I said, let me stay away from that.
Those high school guys aren't the best kind of guys.
Exactly.
Especially the ones you like.
Exactly. I then seen him later on in life. I was in the city at a club, and he was at the club. And that's how we kind of rekindled. We got together. We stayed together. We got married in the Bahamas. It was very beautiful, but we were young. So it did not last. So we ended up getting a divorce. We didn't see each other for years. I mean, probably at least 10 years. And during COVID, the hospital contacted me because he needed surgery. And he was sick with COVID and other things. And I said, well, I'm not his emergency contact. I don't know why you're calling me. They said, well, we have you.
Well, somebody told you it was emergency contact.
Exactly. So from there on, we started talking. We ended up going to this Yelp event. And then from there, it was history. We ended up dating again. And then we got back together. We recently got married on July 5th.
Nice. Congratulations
Thank
again.
You.
How many years was it between that faithful hospital service call and the marriage?
I would say 3.
Okay, so
3
you kind of knew it. It felt
years or
different,
so.
right? It
Yeah.
felt right, and we won't dive too much in, but your heart told you, situations.
3, 4.
It's crazy because we all mature in our own time, and life just puts us where we're supposed to be, but it's rare that someone finds their person there, loses them, and like they say, right, if it was never yours, then it wasn't meant to be.
Very
It
true.
wouldn't come back. However the saying is that I just messed up.
Yeah, he just kept coming back some way, somehow.
A testament to relentlessness, boys. You hear that? Never give up on your girl. She may just not be ready for you, or you may not be ready for her. But I'm glad he kept fighting because y'all look super happy right now.
Thank you.
And I'm wishing you the best. So tell us a little bit more about where you see, some of these programs going. I know we've got a lot of cuts on the horizon. I just recently gave EAC's keynote speech for the yearly meetup amongst employees, which was fascinating and flattering too, by the way.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And really what I try to drive home the point with was it's easy to get lost in the idea that you're just clocking in and clocking out. But I try to drive home the point of purpose. Like, what if the job were the calling? Maybe we didn't have the strength or the knowledge to plug ourselves into an entrepreneurial situation or a situation where we could help people because we didn't know how to structure that. But we found this organization that does God's work, and they plugged us in, and we're able to do God's work and get paid and provide for the family, right? So the perspective shift. What are some of the things you've matured in with your thinking around this just being a job versus purpose-driven like you've been from day one, which is rare?
Well, let me just say this. That really stuck for me. I really love that what you stated about the purpose and just having your whole mind shift, because I was feeling burnt out at work because I had lost several team members at the same time. We had so many children in need recently. Not that they're always not in need, right, but it was, even extra. And I was like, you know what, and it just kept coming back to my head. Change your mind shift. Everything you talked about at the conference. So I think I just need that sometimes.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah, I just need a little refresher. I need to hear it to know my purpose, and I think that motivates me because after that I was a lot more motivated. I started thinking of new programs.
I know you're called to do this because you've done it from day one, and you literally were blessed enough early on, even though the pain that you described, you did not feel that, I'm sure. You did not feel called. You did not feel blessed. You felt like, why me? But you were able to shift. You were able to turn it into meaning, first through homeless work back in the city, I guess, or was that out here as well?
It was in Long Island.
Oh, it was Long Island, I'm sorry. And then you moved into the EAC and just really climbed the ladder. And, EAC, tell us a little bit about EAC, just as a refresher, how large the organization is, how much reach they have, how many dollars they, take in order to make this happen. Because people have a fear that because of the administration, it's all going to be gone. They're going to wipe everything out because fear is what drives too many people. And Neela was gracious enough to say that because we have our, ducks in a row, we're going to be okay. And I wanted you to speak on EAC and the reach that they have so people can understand and support as well, because we need your help as well.
Yes, EAC, we actually provide services to seniors, at-risk youth, the criminal justice population, the HIV population, seniors, I did say that. But
they're important.
Yes.
We get twice with the seniors.
Yes.
We don't pay enough respect to our white seniors, unfortunately.
We service in the Bronx, Manhattan, Rochester County, Suffolk County, Nassau County, Manhattan. So, and we are doing pretty good. We have over 105 programs, I believe, right now. And I don't know the actual budget, but I know they did pretty well. It was several million, over 5 million, I believe, last year. I
think it was close to 10 million.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
I don't know.
A lot of it is through private donations. A lot of it is through government funding, but there can never be enough support from the community. If you want to help here in Long Island and, you don't believe that politicians are the ones that are going to help, which I don't think anybody does, right? If you're on the left or you're on the right, you probably don't like who's in office at either given time. But I think people can all agree that they want to help. It's just the politics that gets in the way of that, right? So how can someone help an organization like EAC?
You can go to our website, eacnetwork.org. We have volunteer opportunities. We have, if you would like to donate or if you just want to offer support in any kind of way, we can there's the availability on the website, or you can always give me a call. I can always direct you what might be the best for you. Many people email me all the time, say, I just want to help. What do you think would be best for me? And I try to match them with what best program or what would work for them to be able to offer services to the communities that we serve.
So EAC.org, any kind of program, anything close to your heart, you can be an accountant and literally add value to somebody's life. So there's no skill, there's no career professional person that this does not apply to. So I just want to thank you, sis, for coming out today and honoring us with your presence. You were amazing. This was a pleasant surprise. And thank you for being so vulnerable. Thank you for doing what you do. And thank you for, I guess, hearing me when it comes to the fact that we already have everything that we need. If we just shift our mindset and understand that we're going to continue to go toward what we want, we can find peace right now. We don't need anything else. We actually just need to eliminate some things that are holding us back, right? So you can't float if you got people and places or feelings holding you down. So sometimes just letting go and having faith and taking care of yourself, that's a win. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
I can't wait to see what we do this winter. And lastly, I can't wait to see what we can form with this Kings Club,
yes,
this Young King Club.
Yes.
And also impact some of the parents, because how important, before we go, we focus on the youth, but the parents that are in their lives that maybe have pain and they're going through their own things, how important is it that they participate and try to heal with these youth and kind of take this in as well?
Change can't occur without change. So we can expect our children to make changes, but if as parents we don't make changes, we can't really obtain the results that we're looking for. So that's why within my programs, we do offer free parent support groups to the community. Anybody's welcome, virtual and in person, in Spanish and in English. And, you can talk to others about what you're going through with your children, or even just have workshops and learn about other topics that, you may not be knowledgeable about. But I think it's extremely important that, parents also get the self-care that they need to be able to take care of their children.
Yeah, and that's available to you parents, and we're not judging you. We're here to help, and I think a lot of times the judgment, fear, is what stops the parents from wanting to participate, because they think that the person on the other line or the other side is say, oh, you were a bad parent or something. Let me tell you something, Jew, just to be, straight. Like my wife, who has everything, feels that way. It's natural for a mother in specific to feel like she's not good enough or doing a good enough job. And that, to my men, my fathers, also have the feeling that they are not doing a good enough job. Brothers and sisters, you are doing the best that you can with what you have, and so did your parents and their parents before them, and that could mean that they busted your ass and they were abusive and they were alcoholics. It doesn't matter. That was in the past. But if we hold on to that, we're doomed to repeat it, and then unfortunately, we're doomed to pass it down to our children. And that's the real crime, is that our own selfishness and inability to heal and be better inadvertently affects the people we love the most and we're called to protect. So it's a cycle, but we can identify it, we can break it, and with the help of Demishia, EAC, and programs like that, we can actually help you install and practice new patterns and habits that can benefit you and everybody that counts on you. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much. This was so much more powerful than I had hoped for.
Thank you,
my love.
Thank
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, make sure you follow all the information, follow Demishia, follow EAC out here in Long Island, and stay tuned for the Young Kings Club. I think we got to do Young Queens Club too, because there's no way we can do that. But I'm gonna hand that over to somebody that Demishia will find more fitting for that. And then lastly, the world's largest teenage toy drive coming to a city near you, but starting right here in Long Island. Then we're hitting the Bronx, and we're gonna hit New York City right after that. So stay tuned. We're making it happen. Let's get it.